Stampede Racing Royale is a game that piqued my interest when I saw it show up at the PC Gaming Show during the Summer Games Fest, so I put it on my radar. I do like me a good kart racer, and 60-player lobbies sounds like it could be a hell of a lot of fun, and chaos. The playtest for this game just finished up and Jesus. Of all the playtests and betas I've played throughout this year, this is easily the worst. Now, I don't think this is a terrible game, but if the developers are planning to launch anytime soon, it will be. First off, there were not nearly enough people playing this game to give it a proper go. Looking at the SteamDB charts, this game peaked at 173 players, which would probably be enough people to fill 3 lobbies, if they're in the same server region, but there are 5 different server regions, and they would have all had to have searched for the game at the exact same time. Look, I played this game during the 173 player peak, and the biggest lobby I could find was 5 players. Actually, I managed to find a 7-player lobby once, but after spending 3 minutes on the loading screen, I had to quit out of it. Now, if the game does not find enough players, the lobby gets filled with bots, which could be alright if they felt at all dynamic, but in their current state they're slow and kind of just non-competitive. They don't feel like they are contributing to the chaos that a 60-player kart racer could offer. So I feel like I'm in a bit of a difficult spot here. On one hand, I feel like I played a very bland kart racing game. On the other hand, I feel like this isn't the game the developers wanted to show everyone, which sucks. I also feel like the developers aren't really doing enough to get the game out there. Sure, they had a spot in the PC Gaming Show, but I have heard nobody talk about this game since then. Why wasn't there a Discord made to capture any traffic or interest from the PC Gaming Show? I can't find a semblance of a community for this game anywhere. This was a closed playtest, so how many people were let in? How many even signed up? I imagine they knew what kind of numbers they were going to be dealing with, so why are there so many server regions, and why is it so hard to find people? I just realised I haven't actually talked about how the game itself plays. It's okay. It just feels like one of those mediocre kart races from the mid-2000s. It's like not offensively bad, but it's not great either. Let's take what I think are the best kart races. Mario Kart, Crash Team Racing, and Sonic All-Stars Transformed. These games all do something that puts them on the top. What does Stampede do to stand out? It has 60-player lobbies. Alright, that's a good starting point. It's something that hasn't been done before in the genre, but the game doesn't feel designed around that fact. The tracks are too short, the karts feel too slow, and the tracks don't feel like they're either designed for the kart's physics in mind or designed for any kind of perpetual momentum. When the karts aren't in any boost kind of mode, like from nitro or boost pads, they feel way too bland to control. I will say that drifting and drift boosting does feel good, and when you get a chain going, that's when the game starts to feel alive. But even then, in all the games I played, none of it felt competitive. Once I was ahead, I was gone. There was no way for anyone to catch up to me. I will say the base game mode as well feels kind of bland. The knockout conditions during the race are just the bottom 20 of each race are eliminated, which does feel a little too static and boring. Overall, I think this game is underbaked, and it needs a lot more time in the oven before it's served to the masses. I think the developers of this game really just need to think of this playtest as a false start. Knuckle down, work on a game that will be fun to play, and next time they do a playtest or a playtest weekend, open it up to just 1 or 2 server regions, just so you can narrow the players into one spot, and sponsor a couple streamers to play it with their viewers for a couple of hours. Then you might actually be able to get some feedback by the public on how the game will be played and released. Because at the moment, I'm not even sure if anyone managed to get into a full lobby or a lobby with more than 7 people. I certainly couldn't, but who knows. I'd also open a Discord or something to try and foster a community to build up some hype around this game. Some things I'd like to see with the game itself is I'd like to see some different knockout conditions and modifiers to the races just to spice things up. I know this is an early playtest and they're probably just trying to get feedback on how the game plays for now, but some things that come to mind are like maybe touching the wall is an instant elimination, or double card speed, no item boxes, but you automatically get an item every 10 seconds. Just random things like that that can be applied to races, just so there's a lot more replayability. Anyway, the game does seem like it's very early. I'm sure there's a lot of things that can change, but one thing that worries me is that they're trying to slate this one for a release sometime this year. I don't think it's anywhere near ready at the moment. I do think that there could be a good game here, and I really don't want the developers to screw this up. Anyhow, that's all I have to say on this one. I do wish the developers best in their endeavours, and I hope that they can eventually create a good game out of this very good premise that they've got in their hands. At the moment, it is not in a good place. That's okay, because they still have a lot of time to turn the ship around and to fix things up. Like I said, I believe the developers want to make a good game here, and I'm not rooting for them to fail here. I really want a decent game to come out of this.